I once followed a leader blindly, until I realized he cared more about his own life than the people who followed him blindly. I stood up to challenge his authority, not just for myself, but to end senseless massacres. Chapter 46. This is all you've got. And you fools, you really want to follow a leader who cares about his own life and not of the people who follow him blindly? Is he even worth calling leader if he cannot even have the dignity to accept a challenge that will stop this stupid massacre? Adrian again mocked and questioned them with holding broke an arrow in his hand, which smells a lot like wolfsbane. Jay had been shot by one of that. Fuck. We waited a couple more minutes for them either to retreat or for their Alpha to show himself. It was clear by the atmosphere that they are questioning whether their Alpha is worth keep fighting as they unconsciously keep taking small step back. I don't want to kill any more bystanders to get that bastard out of his hole, but I'm growing impatient here. I want to go back to check on everyone. I could feel Adrian fidgeting beside me, making me turn to look at him to ask if something is wrong or is he hurt somewhere. God, I'm such an idiot, why didn't I think of that before? Calm down. I can feel you bursting from anxiety. I just want it to end as soon as possible and I'm not hurt. Not as badly as your wounds. Just end it, he assured me through our link. I nodded in reply and get up. Honestly, I don't know what I'm going to do at this point. But lucky it was I didn't have to think, as the most awaited person of the day blessed us with their presence. He came growling and glaring with his glowing yellow eyes, which was meant to make his victims fear him. He stopped good 10 feet away from us and roared, "You will pay for mocking me in front of my pack. First I'll kill this obnoxious girl who thinks she could play big boy's game, and then I will tear this wretched human from limb to limb." He was an Alpha who get mocked and called coward in front of his own people. His pack and the culprits were right in front of him. He wouldn't stop until he punished who are responsible, until he had a go at me for himself. He needed to do this for his own good. His eyes darkened to a shade almost like black, and he didn't even bother to strip as he ran at me, shifting in mid, run and tearing his clothes in the process. I made some distance between Adrian and me to avoid hurting him by mistake as he rushes towards me, with his large brownish wolf with the intention of killing me. He jumped at me with a wide jaw which thirsted for my blood, but I simply moved aside just in time for him to go rolling on the ground. He might be fast, but I have practiced with elders, and after that he is as fast as a normal wolf to me. The surprise is clear, but he didn't let it waver him for a second. He snapped at me with his sharp canines, clearly trying to bite a huge chunk off as his claws dug into my forepaws. With a growl of my own, I pushed back against him, using all my strength to throw him off me. He rolls to his landing, but this time is quick to his feet. Growls and snarls are shared between us as we fight without holding us back, our intent to kill unwavering as we attack again and again. His canines found me again and again. His claws kept digging new wounds all over my body, but I didn't feel any of it, as all those words of hatred and Jay's face keep coming in my head. I let him have his fun. Let him show his strength to his pack. Let him think that he had won this before I decided to end this all. I caught his neck into my jaw mid. Jump. He released a loud cry followed by whimpers as I dug deeper before slamming him into the ground. Never releasing my deathlock, I let my teeth sink deeper in his neck, letting the blood ooze out from him as he cried below me. Snap from his neck breaking satisfies my rage, and I step away from growling loudly enough to make everyone kneel, baring their neck in submission. I turn to look at Adrian only to find him looking at me with emotions similar to pride on his face. I called pack warriors to take Blood Moon's warrior to cells. I would deal with them later, and I also asked them to take all the dead bodies to the basement under infirmary. Later, we will have all the dead pack members would have the funeral as they would be buried honorably, and all the dead enemies would be cremated. No disrespected action would be done with their bodies, and if possible, their family would attend but dead had to wait, as treatment of living is more important. Some of the healing staff would go to treat prisoners. I was giving those instructions when I felt Adrian near me, making me turn to him. He was holding a long shirt for me. I don't know if he had found them from where we keep spare clothes in woods or if the warriors brought it with them. But right now I don't care. I exhausted both mentally and physically. This whole war thing might have ended with his death, but I still have a long day ahead. I went behind a tree to shift back and wear the shirt as my warriors escorted surviving member of the Blood Moon back to the prison cell where they would stay till I decide what to do with them. I need to go to infirmary to check on all the wounded members and also Jay. He is their cause I couldn't protect him. Now as I think of it Flicker being quiet for a long time, even now she is hiding somewhere deep in my mind and not making her presence known. All this must be hard on her. I flinched when a hand landed on my shoulder. I must be exhausted to not notice presence of my own mate. Let's go. We need to get you all fixed up. That bastard had left some deep wounds. Every cell of my body did not want to go there. I don't think I have strength to face all those families that I failed today. But I can't avoid it for long, and I don't think any type of excuse would work on Adrian. Even with my steps we still reached the infirmary too soon for my liking, and my hesitant steps didn't go unnoticed by Adrian as he wrapped his arm around my waist in both supporting and promoting me to go in. No amount of preparing could have made me strong enough to face mourning families of our fallen ones. The injured ones were getting their treatment. Some needed for help than others. I found my family in front of ICU, all looking worn out and broken, but at least they are not severely injured. They noticed my presence and came to me. Is it all over? One of them asked, and only managed a nodding reply. They exchanged looks with Adrian, conversation passing between them without even needing a single word. Me being too worn out to understand didn't even tried. How is he? Doctor said that we brought him here at right time. Kyle replied, but the arrow was shot too close to his heart and it was poisoned. They did their best to stop it spreading further, but his heart might have gotten affected. Stephen continued. He is like this because of me. Only if I was strong enough to protect him like I was supposed to, then this wouldn't have happened. I should have been the one protecting him, but he ended up protecting me like he used to do when we were young. I could feel my shoulders slumping and my legs ready to give up any moment while I was feeling too numb to do anything. I heard door opening and a very angry and very sad Raven came out only to stop in front of me. I wanted to console her, apologize to her, or maybe beg for her forgiveness. Only my body would cooperate with me. How dare you come here? He's in that state because of you. He is dying because of you, and you still have the nerve to show your face here. What kind of Alpha are you? What kind of sister are you to be the cause of your brother? She laughed humorlessly. Maybe you never considered him as your brother. Maybe that's why your own brother is standing here with just some scratches. My whole life I had wanted someone to love me, cherish me, and then I found him. He was better than anything I could have wished for. But now even he is leaving me because of you. He is dying there because he put you above everyone, even himself. You took everything from me. You are a murderer. Never show me your face again. I know she is right, I am responsible for this. I couldn't build the courage to look in her eyes as I muttered, I'm sorry. I didn't know when I started running. I heard some faint voices calling my name, but my body was on autopilot and it took me somewhere where I could hide. I don't think I have any strength to face anyone. Chapter 47. Adrian's POV. It's been more than an hour since Raven's incident, and since then we are trying to find Eddie. I am worried about her. She was already blaming herself for things she had no control over, and I can't even imagine how she felt after being accused for all those things. I don't want to blame Raven cause I could never understand her pain. Pain I never want to feel. Pain of your mate leaving you behind. Jay died sometime after that scene. Still I can't help but feel like she was being unfair to you. It wasn't her fault. She did her best to protect everyone. And she didn't even get her wounds treated. There were so many wounds and no amount of super healing could heal them fast enough with a tired and mentally exhausted body. That's why me and Hyder have been looking for her while West were with Raven. We cannot leave her alone at a time like this. She also needs family support. Finding Eddie is seeming to be very difficult as she had blocked her link to both me and Pack, and we have looked at every place we could think of. Tyler just called me to tell that he hadn't found her smell anywhere near borders, which means she still is on Packland, but I also looked at our home and her office, and there is no trace of her being there. I need to find her as soon as possible. She needs me now more than she ever had. Even with the block link I could feel her emotions. They are faint but enough to tell me she needs me. She is blaming herself for all those we had lost today. She is feeling they're lost. We met at the front of infirmary. We decided to look here as we had looked everywhere else. If she wasn't out there and she is still on pack, then she had to be here. We divided the area so we could search more ground and find her soon. He took first 2 floors while I take other 2, and with promising each other that we'll find her soon and tell other person, we went our separate way. Tyler called me after looking on first floor that he hadn't found any trace of her, and I told him same. I searched whole floor and couldn't find her, and this was the last place left. We had looked everywhere else. Defeated, I decided on my way back to take stairs. Maybe by some miracle I would find her there. My legs decided to have mind of their own when they froze near it all, which looks to be storage closet, and I decided to take a look inside. I don't think I have another choice, as my body is definitely not want to leave this place. My heart broke when I found her sitting inside a small storage closet with her head over her knees, and I can tell that she is crying. What made me feel worst was the fact that her wounds didn't heal, and if possible, they looked worse than before. I don't know what to say to make her feel better, so I just sat next to her, wrapping an arm around her. She didn't react to my heart broke a bit more. I need to be strong for both of us right now. I cannot afford to break down. I need to be her strength. I pulled her close, leaving no space in between, and tried pouring love and comfort through our link. I know she blocked it, but I just hope that even if a tiny bit of it could escape that barrier, then it might make her feel it a bit better. And after a moment or 2 I felt her slowly relaxing me. She wasn't all the way relaxed, but she wasn't as stiff as before. So I'll take it as a win. He's gone, and I didn't even get chance to apologize. She whispered so low that for seconds I wasn't sure if I had heard her right. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noble, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. It wasn't your fault. And I understand that Raven was hurting, but she didn't have the right to blame you for this. But she is right. Even I blame myself for his. For his and all others. It was my duty to protect them, and I failed them. She cried in my shoulder, making me feel angry on myself for taking this long to find her. She was suffering alone for so long. Baby, listen to me very carefully, as I'm only going to say it once, I said while pulling her face out from her hiding spot and looking at her tear-stained and swollen eyes. You cannot save everyone. No matter how good you are, whenever there would be a would, you would lose some. I saw her process my words as she looked at me like she was hanging with a thread and only I could save her. I kissed her temples, pouring my heart in it. I know you lost some members of your insanely big family, but you cannot forget those you saved, and that number matters more. This war might have been over, but they still need you, and don't forget the ones that are in cells. You are also responsible for their life from now on. I know you are tried, but Eddie would have to waiting down as Alpha Eden's work isn't finished yet. Just hold on for some more time. I promise I will let you break after everything gets sorted. And I promise I will hold you for as long as it takes to get back up again. I waited for her to respond, and all she could manage was a small nod with some of her original spark back in her eyes. I would be a fool to think that this would be the end of this conversation. I know these scars would take days or even months to heal, and some would leave their mark behind. I know I cannot do anything for them, but her physical scars, they don't have to last longer than they have already did. I stood up, offering my hand for her to take, which she did after staring it for time. She took my hand and stood up. But maybe her legs weren't ready because of being in same position for long, or it's just all the mental and physical fatigue catching up with her. As she stumbled and almost fell, if not for my hand that saved her just in time. I made her lean on me as I texted Tyler that I had found her and she needed medical treatment. He told me he would arrange a doctor near where we were. It would save us some time, and also there are far less people around here. And it's the last thing I want for her to meet more people in the state that she is now. I picked her up in bridal style, knowing that this would be easier for her given her attempt of standing up. She wrapped her arms around my neck tightly, though I think it is more to do with seeking comfort than to fear of falling. We met Tyler and Doctor at the door, and we entered together. And the way they were gasping, it was clear that they ran to here in order to not waste any time. I lay her down on the bed. She was barely conscious at this point. With her mind at a little peace, her body finally catch up with the fact that she is in lots of pain and barely had strength to open her eyes. Tyler and Doctor both gasped when they looked at her, making me notice a large chunk of flesh missing from both of her legs and how utterly defeated and broken she looked at the moment. Doctor asked us to leave him to do his job, but I don't want to leave her after looking for her so long. And I was still contemplating excuses to stay when Ida's hand landed on my shoulder, and he slowly dragged me out of the room. Where did you find her? Tyler asked hesitantly. In the storage closet right over there. I pointed in the direction of that storage closet. She would be fine. She is strong. She will be fine. That came more like a question. I know he is trying to distract both of us enough to stop us from barging in. I know how strong their bond is. I know it's just as hard for him to see her in this state like it is for me. Did you inform others? No, I forget. I will link them now. We both stayed quiet after that, not knowing right words to break silence. We waited for half an hour, which felt like days for Doctor to come out. He came out with helplessness written on his face, and it scared me more thinking that something might be wrong. Maybe I was too late to find her. I have given her some painkillers which would help with pain and make her sleep for a couple of hours. Her whole body is littered with several punctures, abrasions and many avulsions, deepest one being in her legs where chunks of tissues had been removed, probably by biting. She also had lost a lot of blood, and if she wasn't an alpha with healing better than normal wolves, she would have lost conscious way before. Maybe during that fight. But due to mental trauma her body couldn't heal herself. Mental scares confused it to which needed first attention, her body or her mind. And my guess is that it maintained some type of balance. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. If you were any late in bringing her, wounds would get infected, and with the number of wounds even a little infection would have been enough to bring down an already exhausted body. I have given her injections similar to tetanus toxoid, just modified to suit wolves, and I will also prescribe some more painkillers and some antibiotic. If I didn't know the situation, I would recommend total rest for almost a week, but I know that's not possible. I suggest to give painkillers only when the pain is too much to deal with, but her metabolism would run through it soon. So it won't last very long. And take care of her diet and make her rest as much as possible. Her body needs strength and time to heal itself. And make sure she didn't make any rash movement, it would tear the stikes. Bring her forecheck in 2 days. Doctor left us that and we both went inside. We both took seat, finally resting our tired body. I looked at her sleeping with an IV attached to her. If you ignore the IV, it's easy to think that she is just dozing off. Her broken body covered under blanket. I tried to resist and stay awake, but my body relaxed and I felt my eyes getting heavy. I woke up with someone heaving conversation. One voice which I could recognize anywhere was Eddie, but I'm not sure who his other one. It's someone from the family. I don't know who. I tried to listen, but my body still didn't want to wake up, making it difficult to open my eyes and catch whole sentence. We will hold a funeral for our fallen members tomorrow. I didn't hear the rest of what been said. If she doesn't want to see me, then she won't. But then how will you attend his funeral? Your presence is important, Eddie, not just as a family member but also as the Alpha. He would want you there. Funerals are not for the dead, but for the living. Up for the living. My presence would only bring pain for living, and we have to Alphys. Even if I can't go, Adrian can't, and he will go. Eddie, it wasn't your fault. She will have to see the reason to. This time I recognized the voice that belonged to Kyle, and I slowly opened my eyes and everything looked blurry. If the only thing I could do her is be the one she could vent on, then I'm happy to have that role. Promise me none of you would say anything to her about this, and you won't let her feel alone. She might have lost a mate, but she still has her family. I shifted uncomfortably as my body ached from being in these uncomfortable chairs for long. I turned to find Tyler in the same condition but more aware of surroundings than me. Our movements got their attention as they stopped their conversation. I was hoping to find her sleeping you two up, but remained me to not trust you two with the care of patient. Cod joked in order to loosen up the tense environment. Says who? You who used to eat patient's food. The gross one that they feed the poor souls trapped here. Tyler countered, making me wonder what could be the story behind this comment, but it was enough to shut Kyle up. Kyle, I want to have a meeting with the Blood Moon Pack tomorrow after funeral. Tell them to pick 5 representatives. She paused to look at each of us, and before we could protest, she continues, I want to deal with everything as soon as possible. Then I will not leave my bed till all of you feel satisfied. Promise. Adrian, let's go home. I am done with the day and you to also need rest. We all have a long day ahead us. After a minute into they both left, making it clear that they would very much like to keep her in sight, and, after warning her about not resting and moving too much, I released the breath I was holding. I wanted to be alone with her, but I couldn't justify kicking them out. I went beside her before she could make attempts of standing up on her own. I know she is stubborn that way. So, I kicked her the same way that I did when we entered this room. The only difference from that time and now is that I feel more relaxed this time. Chapter 48, Eddie's POV. I can't believe I reacted so childishly. Troubling everyone. Tyler and Adrian had to come looking for me while I was hiding in the corner. They didn't even get the chance to rest properly and to look after me. But I did not have the courage to face anyone at that moment. I needed some time and space to collect myself, but that only happened when Adrian was by my side. Maybe I should have started with that. But it just seemed unfair to depend on my mate when I was the reason for someone losing theirs. Maybe I am a little selfish, as I don't want to stay away from him. He gives me strength, and Goddess knew I don't mind even to stand on my own 2 feet. Even though I had blocked all the links, he somehow still knew how I was feeling and what I needed. I do feel like falling apart, but I know that everyone's need of their alpha to be present is more important than mine taking a second to breathe. Dad is staying with Raven for the night. He understands her pain more than any of us, and I think Dad had hounded Alta in her. It's good for both of them, they can keep each other company for a while. I totally understand and respect her decision of not having me at the funeral. But others are having a difficult time to come to terms with that demand. I understand both sides, and I know that Jay would understand my choice. He was always understanding. Baby, get out of your head and finish your meal, or I would start feeding you like I used to do with my sisters. Adrian's voice breaks through my thoughts, and I nodded. I looked down to see I barely had started eating, and seeing no point in worrying him any further, I picked up the fork and tried eating. But my hand kept trembling. I don't know if it's trembling from fatigue or from the mess of thoughts that is in my head. Adrian sighed and take the fork from my hand and start feeding me. He patiently feeds me as I take my time. After feeding me till he was satisfied with the amount of food I had consumed, he gave me some pills. I guess some of them must be painkillers, as I felt less in pain and drowsier. He picked me up to take me to our room. He carefully changed my clothes and put me in bed. Hang in there just a little longer then. I will let you cry and fall apart, and I promise I will be there to hold you. I will always be here for you. Always and forever. He said and kissed my temple, and I felt myself drifting away. Something woke me up, and I groggily looked for the reason, only to find an empty place where my mate should be sleeping. And I don't know why the first thing that came to my mind was that someone took him away, making me jerked into a sitting position. The pain made its presence is known due to a sudden moment. Maybe it's the reason for me waking up. I took a deep breath to calm myself enough to look for him. After looking around the room, I found a faint silhouette sleeping on the couch, and instant calm spread through my body. But why is he sleeping there? It must be so uncomfortable. And I want him here where I can touch him or feel him. I decided to go there to bring him back to bed. We still have hours of time to sleep. Perks of going to bed early. I pulled my legs from the blanket and put one on the floor. But I mentally screamed as sharp pain spread from my leg to whole body. How could I forget about that and put myself in this situation? I can't stay like this, and I definitely can't move. I closed my eyes and take some deep breath in order to subdue some of the pain, or at least make it to the point from where I could do something. Anything. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilbe. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. What's wrong? I heard his husky, sleepy voice. It distracted me enough to open my eyes and look in his direction. He had sat up and was looking at me with concern. Why are you over there? I cried out my question as another wave of pain shot through me. He half ran and half walked to me and sat on the floor, caressing my aching leg, his touch having the cooling effect. Sorry, I didn't want to accidentally hurt you while sleeping. But what were you doing? You didn't think that you walk all the way to there when your legs are in this condition. I don't know what I was trying to do. All I know is that I wanted to be near you. Please lay by my side. Nothing would happen. He carefully laid me down without disturbing any wound, and lay down next to me. Better? He asked and I nodded as I drifted back to sleep. Are you sure, Eddie? Adrian asked me again to check if I have changed my mind on attending Jay's funeral. Yeah, I am sure. She didn't want me there, and she already had a lot on her plate. I don't want to add more. But you should hurry. What if the Alpha should be there? He looked at me again, thinking about leaving me alone when I can't even move one step with my bandaged legs. He sighed dramatically, and with the weight of the world he left. He didn't want to go either. He didn't want to leave me alone, and also not want to anywhere wasn't welcome. And it took a good half an hour to make him look at it as the duty of an Alpha. The morning wasn't easy for him, as no matter of closing the link, some of the pain still managed to escape, making him feel guilty. He feels guilty for not finding me sooner, and I think it was stupid and selfish of me to run away in the first place. But what's done cannot be undone, and we can only take responsibility and move on. He helped me a bath and did all dressing of the wounds. He again had to feed me as my body was still not ready to cooperate. Then he spent some time trying to convince me about him not going. It is important for him to attend the funeral. I don't want it to look disrespectful and ungrateful for all he did for us. I just want to respect his mate's wish, and that's why Adrian's attending is very important. I am sitting in all black for the funeral of all the warriors. Their funeral is held after Jay's, and I am waiting for someone to come pick me up. I hate feeling helpless, but some of it is due to my stupidity, and my healing is all over the place. Some of the small wounds are healed, but there are so many of them that it is taking more time than necessary. I feel so tired right now, even do anything since I woke up. And painkillers are making me drowsy. I will close my eyes just for a second. I felt hands shaking me lightly, making me open my eyes. I found Tyler standing there. Adrian was going to pick me up, but he is not here. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. You forget me since you find your mate, and now you are looking at after finding me here. You broke my heart. I tried moving close to him to beat the drama out of him, but he was standing a little too far from my broken and bruised body, and only managed to catch air with the small distance I managed. Come here. Tyler. Please come close. So you could beat me. No thanks. You deserve it. Okay. I won't hit you. Please help me up. He took a movement or two to think if I was speaking the truth. I think he decided to trust me as he came and picked me up on his back. I used to take a piggyback ride with Kyle and Jay when we were young. It brings back the memories of good old days, when things were simple. Adrian couldn't come because he had to go with the pack for other funerals. Everyone was asking about you, so he told them about your wounds and told them he would attend it, but not for too long as you still need rest. Tyler, do you also think that I was wrong not to go there and for respecting her wish? Do you think that he would be mad at me? I asked Tyler, knowing he understands me and this situation, or maybe I just needed some reassurance. You did the right thing, and he couldn't even get mad at you when you did something wrong, and you are not wrong here. And that is why I came to take you to Jay before we go to the funeral of other warriors, but don't worry, everyone left. I myself checked. He assured me, knowing full well who I wanted to avoid, and start walking. We talked all the way. Mostly him distracting me from anything that is happening, and soon I found myself standing in front of his grave. I never thought I would have to see it so soon. Hell, I never even thought of any of us dying like we were invincible. But here I am standing at your grave and still struggling to believe that you are not here with us. All those time when we fooled around causing trouble as children, and when we were happy with just being us, kept flashing in my mind. Still hard to believe. Right. He isn't with us anymore. Tyler's voice breaks through those memories and brought me back to present. I hummed and noticed a blanket near, probably for me. I knew you would want to spend some time with him alone. I can't trust you with standing on these 2 feet of yours. So I arranged this, he said as he carefully put me down on the blanket and walked away. I am sorry, Jay. I couldn't protect you. But I will do everything to make sure Raven is safe and happy, even if it meant that I would have to avoid her. It's not a big problem. We didn't get time to build a bond between us. So there is nothing to be broken, and you don't need to be hard on her for doing this. She is doing what she thinks she needs to cope with. She needed someone to blame, and I would rather have it be me than you. She can hate me all she wants. I don't mind. I'll pray Moon Goddess to give her a second chance for happiness. You should do that too. Now that you are with her, you have a better chance of persuading her than anyone else. You be happy. We will be fine. I barely noticed tears running down my face, and I barely noticed Tyler standing beside me. Come on, Ellie. Don't break your promise so soon. He wouldn't want to see you cry, and honestly, who would want to? You look hideous while crying. Should I kill him? I grabbed what I found and threw it at him, which happened to be a candle which may or may not be lit. Unfortunately, he ducked just in time as he laughed at his own joke. He takes minutes to settle down while I take a deep breath to stop myself from hitting him with something else. He picked me on his back again, and we went to attend the funeral of other members. It was almost over when we reached there. Adrian was standing there with pack members, looking a part of them like he belongs there as much as I do. He was comforting them with his calm and sincere presence. He was fulfilling the Alpha duty well, and pack respect him. He sensed my presence and turned to face me, and smile on his face grew 10 times, making others to look at me too. Tyler moved us closer to them, and Adrian came to us to bring me to his embrace. I heard a faint "I missed you" from our link. After attending the funeral, I was too exhausted to attend the cremation of Blood Moon warriors, even though I wanted to be there to show respect, but in the end, only Kyle, Tyler and some of their own pack member attended it. Akrian brought me back home, and I fell asleep in the way home. I have called Blood Moon Pack for meeting to decide on their future. The earlier it gets resolved, better it would be for everyone. I don't want to keep anyone in cells longer than necessary, but I cannot trust war prisoners enough to let them roam freely in my lands. I have discussed what I am going to do with them with others, and now I am waiting for their escort to deliver them here in the conference hall. It has already been a long day, and those pills that barely do anything except making me drowsy are wearing off, and body is aching all over. Thankfully, Adrian has taken it up to him to carry me everywhere. He doesn't even want me to put one foot down. As much as I appreciate his concern, I can't help but feel like a nuisance to him. The door opened, and in walked 5 members of Blood Moon Pack with 2 of our warriors. I can clearly sense their fear and discomfort. They don't know what is going to happen to them and their family. Not wanting to increase their fear, I get straight to the point. I called you guys here because I wanted to discuss your pack's future with you. I want you to be an independent like you were before, and any possible way to make it possible. But keeping the recent incident in mind, I would monitor your pack to make sure that there is no type of discrimination and no one is being bullied because of being different or physically weak. My statement brought hope on some faces, but some are still skeptical, which is natural. Their people have chosen them to decide the fate of their pack. One wrong decision can cost them, but only their lives, but also the lives of the whole pack. But who would lead our pack? Our Alpha and Beta both are dead, and Alpha had no successor. Asked the one who gave the energy of Gamma. Maybe he belongs to the Gamma family of the pack. But plus point is that they are not questioning my conditions. Stephen, you could be their Alpha, I suggested. Chapter 49. Stephen, you could be their Alpha, I suggested, making him and Kyle look at me. Don't worry, I am just suggesting. You can decide whatever you want. And meanwhile, I would like you guys to mutually decide who you want as your Alpha. We can find someone from outside, but it would be better if the Alpha is from your people. But we will find someone else if you don't have a perfect candidate for Alpha position. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilban, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I sent them back to their cells to discuss it all with other members of their pack. Stephen turned to me, and I knew he has something to say about what I said earlier. But he paused for seconds, maybe for collecting his thoughts, using the right words. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilban, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I am honored that you thought so highly of me, but I would have to decline. There is a lot of bad blood with that pack, and my wounds are still too fresh to even think about visiting that place. And I am very happy here with my mate and the rest of my family. I already knew you would say something like that. But I couldn't decide for you. It had to be your choice. And I am glad to hear that you are happy with us. I dismissed them and turned to Adrian, extending my hands for him to take me in his embrace, which he did without any hesitation. He pulled me close, and I laid my head on his chest and closed my eyes. The feeling of bliss that I get just from being in his arms enough to make me forget about everything. I felt myself floating as all the tension and pain left my body and I felt my eyes dropping. We had arranged a small dinner get-together thing in the pack. It's a good way to help everyone look at the brighter side of the darkness and have the will to keep living. Most of us have lost someone close to us, be it family or friend. This dinner is to appreciate everyone's efforts and scar-if and inform them about the changes that might happen. You all know why we are meeting here. Just 2 days ago we were fighting a war for our beliefs, our family, and our pack, and I would like to thank every one of you. I understand it was a difficult time, but you didn't lose hope and keep fighting till the end. I appreciate all of your efforts and I also understand your pain. I am truly sorry for not being able to protect your family members who gave their lives to save us, and I know I can't do anything to replace that missing hole from your life and family. But I promise you their sacrifice won't go in vain. They wanted us to live and be happy, and we will do all that and keep them in our hearts. I personally want to tell all our warriors who are here with us today and those who left us that I am thankful that I got the chance to get to know you, and it's been my honor to fight beside you. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. We also want to thank you for protecting us, says one voice among the crowd. I also want to tell you that we won't be appointing anyone as a beta. Pierce's family has the beta position for generation and it would remain that way, I said, making everyone look at me with disbelief. But Alpha, there is no one of that family among us now, someone said, and I saw Avon flinch at the sentence. Is them being made known to all? Do they not know that they have mated, which means she's also Pierce? We still have Raven with us. She is also Pierce. She is, after all, J. Pierce's mate. It is her choice whether she wants to take beta responsibility or not. She can decide what she wants and take as much as time she wants. And if she decided that she didn't want that responsibility, that's fine with us too. But can a pack function without beta? Every eye turned to me asking the same question. I knew this question would come, but I didn't expect it to come from so many. Even Raven was looking at me asking this now. Pack needs each high-rank member to function properly, but we are no ordinary pack. We have to alphas and I believe we can make it work. So you guys don't have to worry about anything, I assured them. But some looked like needed more than just words as assurance, but that type of assurance can only be given with time when the opportunity would present itself. I know it looked like an emotional decision, and I am not even going to deny it. Of course, some part is based on emotional reason, but I have some other reasons to which time itself reveals. I saw many looking at Raven, making her cover into corners, trying to evade their questioning eyes. I would also want to tell you that two kids lost both their parents in this war. We can't compensate for that, but we can provide them a new home and new family. If any of you are willing to take that role, please tell me. If no one comes up, then these two will live with me and I would officially adopt them. And that's all for today. I tried to shift attention from her to the next topic. These two kids need a family to live. They lost their parent for the pack. Lydia, a 5-year-old, and her brother Peter, who is 7 years old, are currently living in the pack house with an old couple who wanted to keep them and their family but are too old to take care of small kids. And I wanted both of them to live in one family. We will see who would come forward to take their responsibility. If no one came forward, then Adrian and I would leave this dinner with 2 kids, whom we will call our own. We have already discussed it, and it was he who suggested this. Everyone went back to enjoying the dinner after my last announcement. Most of the young people were sitting near the campfire while elders were near to keep an eye on them. Dad and Tyler were, with Raven, all 3 of them eating and laughing on something Tyler had said. Kyle and Stephen were standing in the corner sharing their meal and discussing something. Everyone looked to be enjoying this, and I find myself relaxing at their peace and happiness. Never knew how much I need them to be protected when even a single one of them is in danger. I can't shake the feeling of restlessness, still they are all safe and sound. I think they will have a complete family with 2 kids at the end of the night, Adrian said, pointing towards where my brother was still discussing something with his mate. I would like that, I said, and leaned back on him, and he continues feeding me as we looked at our family. We will go to meet your family when I could stand on my own 2 feet without needing your help. I haven't met them. When I am keeping their son and brother away from them, you don't need to worry about that. We can go there later. I will talk to Mom and make some excuse on why I can't meet them. You are not doing anything of that sort. We are meeting them as soon as possible. We are already too late. You have been living with my family for more than 3 months and I am still to show them my face. It's not fair for them and you. We are meeting then and it's final. I hope we are not interrupting anything, Stephen said while holding his mate's hand tightly, looking nervous as hell, making me smile thinking what Adrian said is going to be true. We wanted to tell you. We wanted to ask for your permission. He paused and took a deep breath before continuing. We would like to take these kids home with us if you don't mind. I promise we will take good care of them. If you don't believe us, you can test us. We won't let any harm come to them and raise them as our own. I'll give you my words. Chapter 51 month later. Is this necessary? I don't feel like partying. It hasn't been that long. We can still cancel it. Right. I went about the same thing for 1,000 times in 2 days, but it still wasn't enough to make them change their mind. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nobel, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. It's been a month. It's not too early. And it is not a party. You didn't have a coronation ceremony, and you had fought a war as an alpha. It is a necessity that should have been done a long time ago. It was Jay's idea to announce your alpha title this way after this whole mess gets settled. Tyler countered. Eddie, let's rewind a little and tell us how far we had come in a month. Adrian said. They used to do this every time I tried to argue to them about this party. They are being too good of a team against me. I don't like it. Blood Moon Pack has been established again with new alpha and new beliefs, and so far no problem had been coming from them. And they are our top allies now. And Tyler prompted. Kyle and Stephen are raising 2 kids and are surprisingly good at it. They are 2 little devils who want the attention of the whole family, and the one who dances at their 2 most is Dad. I paused and Adrian gave me a look to continue. I took a deep breath. Pack is back at being normal. The usual vibe of normality and happiness is back. Raven is living in her new cottage near the river and is involving more and more of the pack. No one else dared to challenge us. So we have been living in peace. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nobel, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. He didn't sacrifice himself for you because he wanted to die. He saved you because he wanted you to live, and you are not living. I know no one can replace him, but life doesn't stop for anyone. We have to keep moving with it or we would be left behind. Tyler said, embracing me. I know what they are saying is right, but saying we should move on is easier than actually doing it. But I can't keep on doing this. My pack needs me to be present at this moment, not drowning in painful past. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nobel, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I will try my best at this time. I am sorry I made you worry again. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nobel, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I was meaning to ask you, how was your first time meeting his family? They hate me, I said, making both Tyler and Adrian turn to me. That's exaggerating. She didn't know you, that's why she's wary of you. Adrian has repeated this so many times that I think that he might want to make himself believe those words. Your mom said that I am using my power and money to keep you in my grasp. I am using your vulnerabilities to keep you trapped here, and that's why you couldn't go anywhere on your own free will. And this whole relationship thing is a sham to cover my evil intentions. If my intentions towards you were pure, I wouldn't have avoided meeting them for this long. How is it exaggerating that she hates my gut? She thinks that I am an evil queen who had trapped her son. What she said did hold some truth. We might know the reason behind everything, but from her point of view it does look that way. But what's more exciting is that this situation is like some kind of reverse fairy tale where instead of a princess, the prince needs saving. So, Andrian, how does it feel like to be the damsel in distress? Tyler joked. That boy can joke in any situation, and I won't be surprised if he ever gets in a life-death situation because of his weird sense of humor. Like right now, Adrian glaring at him like he's throwing daggers at him. She just needs some time to accept you," Adrian said, looking defeated. "I know she will, and I am not going to stop till that happens," I assured my mate. "Either way, Adrian gets some crazy power after you guys completed mating. And do you know that his healing power is way faster than ours? Don't tell me you test it to know whose is faster." They both start looking sheepishly at each other. Goddess, these kids. I can expect this type of behavior from this idiot, but I remember the time when Adrian cut his hand to see if he got healing or not. "Never mind. You both are the same. But since when did you become BFF?" "Since we had taken care of a whiny baby together. That type of shit brings people close. Tyler, you know I love you, right?" I said, taking a step toward him. "Adrian, your mate is scaring me," he said, taking a step back. "You know I would never hurt you purposely, and if I ever hurt you in the future, I should apologize for that in advance, right? So, Tyler, I'm extremely sorry for killing you by mistake." I jumped on him as I said these words, only to be stopped by two hands holding me tightly from back. I turned my head back to see Adrian holding me. I tried freeing myself, but he only tightened his hold. I growled at him in frustration. He kissed my cheek, ending my growling. I looked at him in a daze, completely what was happening. The sound of footsteps brought me back to reality, and I sought either escaping, using this moment as a distraction. I turned back to Adrian to complain, but before I could even open my mouth, he kissed me again, this time on lips. One of his finds its way to my hair, and he grabbed them to tilt my head in the right angle. His tongue caressed my lips, and I opened my mouth to give him excess. But to my dismay, he stopped and his hands left my body completely. I whined at loss of contact. He chuckled, looking at my dazed expression. "How adorable. Be a good girl." He patted my head and left me standing there trying to understand what the hell just happened. "Are you sure about this dress? 'Cause I am not that confident with this lit. It is showing my scars." I whined to Adrian as he was the one to pick this dress. He's more confident about it than me. "Scars show how strong you are. Your scars make you more beautiful, and it tells these alphas that you are not one to mess with. So, you were just happy that no one would approach me?" Yeah. Can you blame me? You look so beautiful that anyone would fall for you, and I don't like competition. Even though my wounds have healed and most of the scars have also healed completely, but I had a large piece of flesh torn out of my both legs, which had left some nasty scars on my way, which I don't think would go. I wasn't feeling too confident in showing skin due to the increased number of scars that are littered in my body. Some were just shadow of their original shelf, but some were more prominent. But this mate of mine had picked this dress that would show most of them. I won't deny that I like this dress. It is a simple black V-neck dress with a slit on one leg. It is simple and elegant, and I would have been more confident to wear it if there weren't so many scars. Enough about me. My Prince Charming is looking delicious in his tux. How could one look so matured and dangerous with their boyish charm? I wish we had more time before the party. But when do we get what we want easily? Maybe later. Ladies and gentlemen, I know we are a little late at this and you already knew this, but I would pretend that you don't. I proudly want to introduce the alpha of our pack. My daughter, Eden A. Crescent Black, and her mate Adri and Lucian Whitaker. They have been leading our pack for a while now, and we can't be prouder. Dad announced, making everyone's focus turn to us. I hate this type of attention where they will judge you like it's the most natural thing to do. But it couldn't be helped now. All I had to do is smile and bear with it. Adrian and I greeted some people who came to congratulate us and made our way to stand somewhere away from the majority of the crowd, but still looked like being part of the crowd. I could hear all the whispers from here, and I can bet that Adrian could too. Some were talking in a general judgmental tone. Some were saying that we did wrong with Blood Moon Pack. Some even said that I don't know how to act like an alpha, though I don't have what it takes to be alpha of a pack. But few were supporting us too. I looked around to see what others were doing. I wanted to be surrounded by my people right now, only to find them trapped in their vicious circle of gossip mongers. I knew people came to me to demanding answers or satisfying their need for gossip, or try to take a bite from my flesh to make themselves feel like they're somehow better than me. Adrian tightened his hold on my hand to bring my attention to him, and that helped me calm down a bit. Alpha Eden, a long time no see. Remember me? And here it began. Sorry. No, please go away. I don't want to deal with you. I knew you wouldn't. Let me help you. We met at a party just like this not very long ago. He smirked at the end of his sentence. His behavior like he had some type of upper hand on me. I have definitely met this, too good for this world, idiot somewhere. Oh, Clay, right. We met at Alpha Jonathan party, right. Oh goddess. Someone please save me from this idiot. So, you do remember me. I know it's hard to forget me. Let me tell you how big of a surprise is to see that you are the alpha of your pack. I mean, it is a quite big pack. It must be hard to handle it alone. I don't know if he was trying to compliment me or insult me, and I could feel Adrian's irritation at this idiot through our bond. It is, but thankfully I don't have to do it alone. I have a wonderful family to support me, and I also have my mate to be there for me whenever I need him. Oh, yeah, your mate. I heard you're mated with a human. I wonder why Goddess was being so unkind to you. You already had it bad with being forced to lead the pack because your brother didn't want to take his rightful duty. I think you should have been mated with a strong alpha who could lead your pack, he said, completely ignoring the fact that my mate is standing right here. Adrian snarled at him with his eyes glowing and take a threatening step toward him. I stopped him before this self-absorbed idiot could notice. I need to stop Adrian from killing him, especially in front of all these people. You don't have to feel sorry for me. I have a perfect mate for me, and rest assured even elders told me that he is a perfect match for me. Now if you excuse us. I smiled at him the best I could muster and pulled Adrian away from him. How long is this going to happen? It's been what, 2 hours? No, it just feels like 2 hours, it might be less. That I have to deal with a bunch of people talking to me about me being alpha. My human mate, and some even sympathized to deal with the bad side of being alpha so soon. Some questioned on my decision of not appointing anyone for beta and how could I let a rogue stay in the pack. And some even dared to say that I shouldn't have fought with Blood Moon pack for one person. I should have surrendered them to keep the peace between packs. That I don't have Alpha's judgment. I swear to Goddess if I have to endure it any longer, I would kill someone. They are mocking me as a person and as Alpha, and they are mocking my family. Even though some have come up in my defense, but their number is less than those who want to prove me unworthy of the Alpha title. Maybe I could leave without others noticing my absence. The door of the party hall opened, and in walked the messenger of elders, their presence grabbing everyone's attention. I saw some alphas smiling, thinking we are in trouble. People don't learn. We don't have anything to fear from elders. 'Cause if they wanted to punish us, they could have done that when I was kept prisoned there. We are here on account of elders. They've sent us to tell everyone that there is going to be a big change in the power dynamic in the werewolf world. Elders wanted to tell you that they have decided to retire, so they would no longer be bothered with matters of the mortal. They understand that mortals need someone to guide them and make rules and enforce them. That's why they have selected one alpha, who they found worthy of the title to be the leader of the werewolf world. Alpha of all alpha. The rest of you have to follow them. Questioning your new leader would be questioning the elders. Alphas, meet your new leader. Alpha Eden, a crescent black. Kneel in front of your new leader. Every single eye turned to me as they all fell on their knees, exposing their neck in submission, and I looked around, still not believing what I just heard. The messenger came toward me and kneeled. Alpha of all alpha, please accept your duty as leader of our world. He stood up and presented a set of wolf brooch and pinned it on my dress and another one in Adrian's tux. This is the sign of your royalty, your power, and your status. Elders expect you to lead us in a peaceful world. Epilogue, Raven's POV. I'm sorry I haven't come to see you. I couldn't, but I have so much to tell you. So much I want to share with you, I said as I sit down in front of his grave. It is like I drained most of my energy just to come here. I wanted to come here, but I couldn't bring myself to do so. This place feels colder than our home, maybe because I know that he is here and not here at the same time. You must be angry or hurt that I am not treating your sister well and I falsely accusing her. I know that too, but this pain that your absence has brought, I can only handle it with anger, and I don't want to be mad at you. It wasn't your fault, I know that, even though a small part of me thinks that. I don't want to hate you, and she seemed to be the next best option. I know that's unfair, but... To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilbe, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I just wanted to prove it to me or everyone that every alpha is fucking the same. They don't care about anyone. No one matters to them except themselves. I wanted to see her abusing her power just like I have seen it happen my whole life. Maybe I needed as a reason to justify my anger and hatred toward her. But she didn't. She took everything, even when it was my fault. She apologized to me. She's making it hard for me to hate her. But I need to hold on to it a little longer, till I find something else as a reason to survive. You know how annoying your family is. They don't leave me alone. Every night one of them would come to have dinner with me. Alpha, you told me about. I haven't seen him one bit. Instead of him, a founder-dotting father would seem to have adopted me as his daughter. Even when I have hurt his real daughter so much. I have seen that strong alpha who had brought everyone down on their knees getting defeated by the hands of two little kids. Well, the devil would be more accurate for them. They know how to make their grandfather dance on their beats. You should see them. I bet you would be like that too. A tear dropped on my hand. You used to say that I am strong. But if I am strong, then why can't I bear with this pain? Why does it feel like increasing with every breath that I take? Why is it draining my energy just to stay here? You don't know what it's like to be here knowing you can't come back. That I can never have you back. She is not going to appoint anyone in your place. She said this title belongs to your family. She said that I am also part of this family. Your family. That means your family line does not end with you. It can continue with me. You know, before meeting you I was no one. But now I am someone. And it's all because of you. Because of you. I had a family. The family was something that seemed unattainable in dreams. I thought I would be lucky if I got rejected by my mate. 'Cause that would mean that I have a mate. I never in my wildest dream thought that my mate would accept me. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I was just a Rogan. They are not accepted anywhere. Everyone hates them. But you fool. You didn't just accept a rogue like me, you also gave me a family who loves me and accepted me. That is so much more than what my biological family did for me. I didn't just come here to complain. I have some good news to tell you. We're going to be parents soon. I sniffled and took a deep breath. You heard right. I am pregnant. We are going to have a baby. It's already been a month and a half. Maybe this is not the ending of my story. Maybe I'll have a new beginning. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode of the story, please give it a like. And don't forget to subscribe to get notifications for updates.